Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dry Down. This is the channel where we aspire to enhance and elevate our olfactive sensory experiences through the understanding of the different facets, aromas, and nuances from scent, cigars, and wines. I'm your host, Chris. Welcome to today's experience. We're going to go over a nice little capsule review selection today. It's going to be my luxury or uber luxury leather fragrances, along with a plus today in our capsule selection, which is a Lancero made by My Father Cigar. If this sounds like the type of content you think you'll enjoy, pull up a seat, pour a glass, and let's enhance. Nice aromas. All right, guys, first off, we're going to begin this selection with MEMO's African Leather. Now, African Leather is a very, very beautiful scent that is... It's actually a stunning scent. This is a scent that opens with a burst of gorgeous, vivid bergamot. It's stunning, bright. It illuminates the room when you put it on. Almost a wondrous blend of warm spices, very nice fresh spices as well. Cardamom, saffron, warm spices like cumin. It's rugged. Almost a grassy floral heart to this particular fragrance as well. It comes off greenish in the heart of this particular fragrance because of the added geranium and patchouli that come with this particular fragrance. Very nicely done. It's almost an unpolished, majestic fragrance that you will come across. It's almost, I'd like to say, untamed. This is a very sensual leather as well. The fresh spiciness and warm spiciness is far more evoked in this particular fragrance than the leather is. But you can smell the underlying suede leather in this particular fragrance. Very nice, date night, mature, sophisticated, sexy ass leather fragrance. I suggest this and would actually recommend this to anyone that's looking for a fresh, spicy leather fragrance that can come off well in any scenario, from work settings, date night settings, to overall even a club vibe with this particular fragrance. And not a club vibe like a kiddie club or anything like that. This is one that you go into lounges, comedy clubs, comedy settings, plays, stuff like that, and you own the room with this one. That is MEMO or African Leather by MEMO Paris. What we have for you is Clive Christian C. This is a classic, beautiful, woody leather fragrance that is composed of a myriad of 30 different fragrance notes. And this one here I fell in love with about 4 years ago when Clive Christian introduced this line. Each letter on this line, on each bottle, evokes the name Clive. He has C-L-I-V-E. This C is the woody leather version. This is, like I said, a myriad of fragrance notes done by Christian Provenzano, 30 notes to be exact. This has a opening of bright mandarin, lemon, a soft mate tea, an aromatic thyme note. That's just the opening. Once it evolves and becomes more and more harmonious with the leather that's in this fragrance, it is it's slightly fruity with a heart of a I don't want to say non-fruity. It's a raspberry accord that is reminiscent to Tom Ford's Tuscan Leather. That's one that this compares to often, but it's a much more well-rounded and harmonious scent to me. It doesn't go quite as rugged as the aforementioned fragrance does. Saffron is in the heart of this fragrance. Very, very nicely done. It makes it smoother, and I think that's because this one uses orris root in the mid of this fragrance. So that transition from open to mid is a much smoother transition. It comes off very classy, very sophisticated. The base comes in about 3 or 4 hours on this fragrance, and that is one of the more sensual parts of this particular fragrance. It is one that takes you deeper and deeper into sensuality because it has a very soft yet sweet and seductive gaiac wood, along with musk, oud, tonka, and vanilla, which make that sweetness pop off. Frankincense, cedar wood is in this, and also one that makes it more sophisticated than other leather fragrances, in my opinion, that it has a cypress note that brings off a greenness that is quite nice done. It runs concurrent to all the other notes, but you can smell that underlying cypress accord in here that is very well done. I'll say that. I actually love this scent a lot more than Tuscan Leather. Don't tell Tom Ford I told y'all that. That is Clive Christian C, Leather and Wood. And here we have for you guys one of the more polarizing leather fragrances that I have in my collection. This is an uber luxury fragrance that is composed by ROJA Parfums, ROJA Dove, and this is Fetish Pour Homme. This is the EDT version of Clive ROJA's Fetish. And for me, this particular fragrance is it's a mind-blowing fragrance. This is truly, to me, ROJA's is a timeless masterpiece leather fragrance. This is one that I'm told evokes, and I can't confirm that because I've only been in one and didn't smell it. This is supposed to evoke the interior of an Aston Martin. The leather that tannery uses to make the inside of not only the leather, but the suede of Aston Martin. This is supposed to reflect that, and that's where ROJA got its inspiration from. But like I said, this is a masterpiece. It embodies a genius blending of fragrance notes. The sillage on this is clear, long, perceptible. It is one that if you spray it right and wear it in the proper setting, it doesn't come off boastful. It doesn't come off harsh, and it lingers in the air and just is so attractive. I'm trying to see in my mind the color that I see in this fragrance. If I was to explore it in that fashion and manner, I see the most radiant red with an orange hue, almost like a sunset in the sands and deserts of the safari of Africa. Man, it evokes such a instinctual sexual arousal when people smell this fragrance. I've been told while wearing this that it is one of the most seductive fragrances that I have worn. To me, what I get from this particular fragrance is suggestive of sophistication from the masterful blend, but also if you do step away from it and you embody the fragrance, like you have to have a clear and radiant dominance about you. You can't be a beta male or female wear this particular fragrance. You have to have a dominance about you. You have to have an air about you. And you have to have an atmosphere around you that is accepting of this type of fragrance. This is not a childish fragrance by any means. This is one that the boss will wear. This is one that the CEO will wear. This is one that the man that is full of confidence, single-minded, purpose-built, intent on his purpose and focus. This is a fragrance that man pulls off anytime, any moment, anywhere. And it is such a beautiful fragrance. Bergamot, labdanum, ambers, oud, the warmest, most spicy leather you can come across. Very nicely done, very harmonious. A fragrance that I would suggest to anyone to get their nose on if they're looking for a luxury leather fragrance that boasts confidence, clearly perceptive of a boss. Wonderful fragrance. The fourth installment that I have here for you guys is Regent Leather, done by the House of THAMEEN out of London. This is a fragrance that I picked up around Christmas time as one of my Christmas presents to myself. And it is quickly climbing the ranks of what I choose as a signature scent if I was to ever have one. I posted that in my Instagram account, and some people noted that they feel the same way about this particular fragrance. This one is one of the most brilliantly done Sicilian lemon fragrance accords that I've ever smelled. It is, the texture of this particular fragrance is so smooth. It's the creamiest of all the leathers I have in my particular collection. And the faucets that come off it, you have an umbrella. I can't even perceive open, mid to base of this particular fragrance. It has a non-linear feel to it, but everything is almost like it comes in waves and forms in this particular fragrance. So when they perform the blending on Regent Leather, they put in lemon, a smooth saffron accord that up close, it can be a little bit off-putting, but in the air, that trail, that sillage is such a wonderful blending of fragrance accords. This thing is full with balsamic touches, sweet, warming, creamy lemon, Garjum balsam, which makes it a much more rounded and developed fragrance. Patchouli. The patchouli is not one of the more exacerbated accords or notes in this particular fragrance. That comes off as a almost like a fist. How would I say this? The patchouli is there, it's present, but it's the green patchouli that you will catch in something like a Richwood from Xerjoff. It's that refined patchouli accord that's slightly bitter, slightly green, but overall presents you with an unbelievable oral sophistication. And the vanilla in this mixed with that and the labdanum makes this so sensual, sophisticated, warm, sexy. As I said, this is one that's quickly climbing, in my opinion, to be one of the better leather fragrances blended right now that I've smelled. Very nice. It's distinctive. It's one that many people have said on different platforms it's one of the most beautiful they smell, and I agree. This is a great fragrance. And this one here is also, just like the ROJA Parfum, meant to evoke a luxury experience. And that evocation or evocative moment is meant to evoke the interior of a Rolls Royce. So, as I'm told, the Rolls Royce Enthusiast Club of London collaborated with THAMEEN Luxury Perfumes and came up with the perfect scent that embodied the Rolls Royce driving experience, ownership experience, and interior poshness. And I swear, I must agree, this one unbelievable luxury, uber luxury leather fragrance that just comes off so well. Very sensual, very sexy. As I said, to me, I'm understating it, how good it is to me. I suggest anyone get a sample. You can go to Lucky Scent or any of the platforms that sell luxury scent samples and get this one, because this is one I'm slowly but surely going to consider this as my signature scent. And that is THAMEEN, House of THAMEEN, Regent Leather. Very nicely done. And last but never least, I want to present to you guys a fragrance here that is certainly one of the top 5 leather fragrances that you can find anywhere. This one here tops any fragrance from any designer, any niche, any luxury, any uber luxury, this is a particular fragrance. This is Armani PRIVE. I don't even want to spray it. I'm scared to spray it. That's how much I love this. This one here is a fragrance that you can only get, or which I only found, through Harrods of London. This is a fragrance that was brought to my radar by a good friend on Instagram, a really good guy down in Louisiana. I had to stop and just smell the fragrance real quick. Man, Purple Heart Gentleman, I'm going to give it to you, bro. If you're watching these videos and you seeing this content, you hit this one, bro. This is the perfect embodiment of a luxury leather fragrance. This one is blended with top notes, heavy top notes, but they come off ethereal. Frankincense and a floral, fruity osmanthus. A sensual May rose that's almost fruity in itself. The leather accord is that slightly, it walks the line of animalic and suede at the same time. So it comes off so smooth, but at the same time has rough and rugged edges to it. The base notes of this has a oud and vanilla combination. And my God, I swear, if I was to ever recommend a fragrance to anyone that wanted to smell so exclusive that they could smell, I mean, when I say nowhere else, this is the one that comes to mind first. If someone wants to walk up on me in the streets and say, man, where can I get a scent that I can only smell on me for the next 3 years? I'm pointing at CUIR MAJESTE by Armani PRIVE. This thing is such a great, ultra refined, luxury leather fragrance. I mean, it's just fruity And when I say fruity, I don't mean as in toy candy like fruity. I said toy, that's a fucking one. Get that one, I'm gonna leave that one in. Candied fruits, that's not it. This is an authentic floral fruitiness that is built off of osmanthus and that May rose. And it's not floral or rosy. It's centrally done, blended, and everything falls into line. Everything is harmonious with this particular fragrance. Sexual. The smokiness is almost just completely the abundance of the frankincense. It's burning frankincense. It's not a crystallized frankincense. It's one that comes off a little bit smoky. The oud is a very well done antiseptic, but smooth antiseptic. Astringent oud, but it's so well done. And the vanilla according to this, I don't know if they have a blend of vanilla that they have with Armani. I've never smelled the vanilla in this, but it's such a sweet, warming, almost like a French vanilla ice cream as you would have as a kid or something like that. Great fragrance. This one here is a compliment magnet. Whenever I wear this fragrance, if I wear it in somewhere that's a social setting, I'm getting compliments. I wore this particular fragrance to a conference, and everyone within a 5-foot radius that I walk past, and that's the one thing about it too, it's soft, but the sillage in this particular fragrance is a killer. Because no one batted an eye as I walked past, but when I got like 2 feet apart and you could look around and scan the room, everybody was like, damn, that's that right there. And then after the conference was over and I would walk to the water cooler or to the table for snacks, I got 3 people tap me on the shoulder like, what is that you wearing, man? And so that gives you exactly the power and the presence of this particular fragrance and how it suggests almost it's great fragrance. I recommend this one to anyone, like I said, who has the mindset that they want to stand out and be the most wonderful smelling person in the room and never ever smell this person or this scent on another person for the next 3 to 5 years, because you won't. It's so exclusive to even find and get. You won't see this fragrance on anyone. And that is CUIR Majeste from Armani Prive. This one can be found at Harrods. Harrods.com is the only place I found it. Like I said, shout out to my man, Purple Heart down there in Louisiana. Good guy. Let's get into the cigar memoir. Today we have the My Father No.4 Lancero Vitola 7.5 by 38. This is a cigar. I picked up 2 of these the other day, and for some reason I am falling deeply in love with the Lancero Vitola. This particular cigar is an Ecuadorian Habano Rosado wrapper. It's the binder from Nicaragua and a filler from Nicaragua. It is done by the My Father Cigar Factory. This one has, it's veiny, but the cocoa chocolate textures on it are non-toothy. The veins and seams are present on this particular cigar, but it doesn't take away from how beautiful it is. Also, it's done with a slight pigtail on this particular cigar as well, if you can see that. The nice band, My Father's Classics band, is on this one. And these are great smokes. This one smoked the other day for about 1 hour and 15 minutes. Ah, man. Pre-draw. Man, that smells beautiful off the foot. Ah, that tastes good. The My Father Lancero, that's a particular cigar that's full of leathers, baker's cacao, a nice perfume background when you get it off the foot on a pre-light. And like I said, the packaging, to me, is just a little above average at best. It's not something that's a spectacular cigar. You can find this Lancero for about $9. A nice, easy smoke, nice medium body cigar. The cold draw is medium to loose, nothing to get upset about at all. It has nuts, espresso, cacao. It almost, let me see. The cold draw on these is, as I recall, it had almost like a nice modicum of spices like black pepper, some soft spices, red pepper, a little cedar. And that's what you get off the foot as well. So the cold draw for me, as I recollect, was similar to that. The cold draw is nice. It's a moist hay note to this one as well. And so in getting into this, the first third of this particular cigar was full of cacao, herbs, sweet cherry, a nice little smoke. It had hits of cedar and earth in it. It felt like it would be a cigar that was on the full side, but clearly came out to me to be on the to my taste, the mild to mild medium. It had a slight zestiness, like a mandarin zestiness to it, sweet cacao, nuances of herbs. The draw on it was perfect because of that Lancero. It was cooling, lengthy, it was flavorful. The body of it was almost light and ethereal. The strength, like I said, medium body in the first third. The burn was always good on it. I didn't have to correct the burn on it. The smoke production was fine. The ash is the one thing about these Lanceros, but I can't blame my father for that because all Lanceros act that way. You get about a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch and the ash will fall off. But also in the first third, you get a little bit of the nuances of, like I said, earthiness, almost like cedar, and almost like a cracked nut, like a walnut, a cracked walnut or a nutshell. And that was great. That perfume accord that came across was great for me. So I enjoyed the first third of this particular cigar. The second third of the cigar, it brought about more earthier tones, more of the cedar, more of the herbs. It got a little bit more herbaceous in the second. But it was complemented by a dark tart cherry note with a long, almost like a dried cranberry accord or aroma that came off it into the second third. The complexity and finish was quite nice. The body was still light. It didn't overwhelm me in the body. The strength was still medium to full, or sorry, mild to medium, never went too full. And the perfume, it developed a little bit of the oak that I could smell in this one. The cracked nut was still there. The herbs, almost like that hay was still there as you got the foot. It started to develop into the mid or second of the mid. And that was quite nice to feel in that smoke. You got a little bit of sweet, warm graham cracker crust, pie crust taste to it. So that's more like the bread feel of it, the wheat that comes off in that, the hay. So that was pretty good in the second third. That's right there where the real development in the cigar happened for me. That was the best part of the cigar. Really, really nice in that second third. And that's about 2 inches into the smoking process. So that is always nice to have such long and giving the ability to really taste the cigar because they have that length to it. Very nice. And for the final third of this particular cigar, the Lancero No. 4 by my father. Like I said, the total smoke time was about 1 hour and 15 minutes. Going to the final third, it was woody. Other times you had cacao or like a chocolate aroma that was dominant in the final third. Oak notes came up, developing. Occasional to that wheat accord was very nice. At this point in time, I started to drink a Chimay Blue, which is a tapestry beer, or Trappist beer, I should say. And that started to change some of the profile. It started to make the cigar feel like a coffee feel to it, which made it nice because that combination of flavors started to come out and it was really, really good. The finish was predictably citrus accords, herbs, cedar notes. The burn never went out of shape or stayed fine for me. I smoked it down to about 1¼ inches because at that point, the such small diameter started to get really warm to me. I didn't like that particular part about it. But the floral notes in the end, a little bit of caramel accord, nicely done. Served me well smoking that cigar. I would recommend it to anyone looking to get into smoking the vitola of the Lancero. Like I said, the flavors were nice. The overall smoke time was great. The burn, quite nice. You had different complexities, medium to mild body or mild strength. The body was nice and ethereal. And this one I will clearly recommend to anyone who wants to smoke on the Lancero. And that's to my father. Along with today's capsule selection, I gave you 5 luxury or uber luxury leathery fragrances, starting with MEMO Paris, African leather. Then you have ROJA's FETISH. Then you have Armani Prive's CUIR Majeste, THAMEEN, Regent leather, and Clive Christian C woody leather. All great uber luxury leather fragrances that you need to get your nose on. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our experience for today. As always, if you found anything of educational or entertaining value about this particular video, I just ask you hit the like button, leave a comment or question. They are always welcome, and I'll see you guys in the next experience.